Love podcasts, hate nonsense. It's the PoliticsJOE podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Someone outside is shouting.
He's coming for you.
Oh. Should we stop doing the podcast?
No, never.
What level of threat would there have to be
To stop the podcast?
Yeah.
I think we keep going during a nuclear winter.
Interesting.
If nuclear war started and we survived because we're in the basement, I feel like we'd have an obligation. I think you'd call it public service broadcasting.
It'd be nice to have a routine as well. nice to have something to get you out of bed, rather than just an existential worry
About the mutants tearing up.
Yeah, I don't know how
North
long
London
I'd last
around us.
I'd last in that environment. I don't know if I've got that grit in me.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I hope never to be in that circumstance, but I'm not sure I've got that. You know, in like films when it's like, or like The Road or something, just brutal landscape.
Yeah,
Just like
the state of nature.
doing the worst things to survive. I don't have that in me, I don't think.
You would be in the cannibal slave owner's basement.
No, not even that. I think I'd be dead.
So you don't think you'd even be subjugated? You think you'd just
I wouldn't
be...
let myself get to that stage.
Oh, you'd swallow your tongue.
Yeah. I think I'd be coward's way out. But I live a very comfortable life. And I'm not prepared to give that up.
Okay.
What about you?
I think you should try and survive.
I know I should.
What if you were the last man on Earth?
Well, that's
And the
even
future of the
worse.
human race depended on you finding the only woman on Earth?
But I'm not sure I've got that level of hope within me. To be like, well, I hope there's a woman somewhere who then I've got to convince to sleep with me. Because that's never
hard
happened.
work.
That's never happened. No. How do you spit game to a woman in a post-apocalyptic scenario?
It's not the future of the...
Initiate contact.
Negging.
You're the most beautiful woman on the planet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some kind of like shotgun. Like your I love your shotgun. I've seen so many other wasteland wanderers carrying it. I guess in a way this connects to this is we could segue from this into a conversation about masculinity, couldn't we?
We could. But I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious how you spit game toe.
Just full stop.
Yeah, I've got no. Not that.
Know that inside out.
No, I think that's one of my...
Can you give me some game? Okay. We're out at the content convention. And you, Ed Campbell, I'm going to create a scenario. This is maximum opportunity for you, right? You have just delivered the keynote speech to the content convention. It's in LA.
Right.
So you're an Englishman in LA as well. So this is in your favor.
No, it wouldn't be.
And you bring the house down. It's like it's a TED talk on steroids. It's 18 minutes. There's a prop. You tell an anecdote.
There's a prop.
And by the end, it comes full circle. The whole audience realizes the entire talk is a metaphor, and you've taught them all something.
Yeah.
Right? It's textbook. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that not content with being one of the world's most recognizable and successful actresses, Sydney Sweeney wants to start a politics YouTube channel.
Right.
And she comes up to you after your keynote speech and she says, Mr. Campbell, that was fascinating. What do you say?
Thank you. Put your hand to shake.
Yeah, so you do have game.
Yeah. And that's one of my least favorite tropes of like comedians, performers.
What do you mean?
Just like men being like, I'm a loser.
Ah.
And like I don't like men are like, I can't get a girlfriend. Like I have a girlfriend. I just pretended that I've never spoken to a woman for comedic effect for a bit.
You felt the need to clarify that?
Yeah.
Got a girlfriend, ladies and
Got
gentlemen.
a girlfriend. Yeah, but I think
Taken.
But I think it really puts me off a comedian if they're like,
do you know?
I'm a loser.
Particularly when they're actually clearly quite successful and maybe not handsome.
Yeah,
but like not bad looking.
But you also have to be a professional comedian or performer. You have probably an innate charisma.
Yeah,
there's something about you that's interesting.
Yeah, well, you're
probably just
a fucking psycho.
Yeah, you're probably just a vile dickhead if you're.
They're usually really fucked up.
Who?
Comedians.
I don't think that's true.
Don't you?
I know quite a lot.
Got a girlfriend and he hangs out with comedians.
Yeah, at the convention.
Yeah,
I don't think
we're working on our type fives together in the writers' room.
What you think? Like Michael McIntyre's fucked up.
I wouldn't describe him as a comedian.
I think. Whoa! No way! That's the most epic thing I've ever heard.
Well, no, he's clearly incredibly vanilla.
Okay. He's outside. Hey,
it's McIntyre! Run! Yeah, I mean, like no, okay.
Like the tortured artist.
No, I just think you're more. It depends on your topic. If you're doing like, what about airplane food? Then yeah, I don't think you're.
I think that's what most comedians are doing. To be fair, some quite basic.
I prefer being regaled with tales of depravity.
Right.
So those are the comedians I like.
Okay, that's.
Do you think
they're all fucked up in the head?
Do you think Shane Gillis is a well-adjusted man?
Actually, yeah, kind of. He's actually had quite a conventional life beyond being a professional comedian.
Yeah, I suppose you hang out with him. So what's his life like?
So me and Jane are hanging out at Sydney Sweeney, but like, isn't like he went to West Point on an American football scholarship, so he was like on the football team in high school.
In many ways, the quintessential American experience.
Yeah, and I don't think that's unique amongst comedians. Comedians just like are funny and like attention and can perform. I don't think it makes you inherently.
So they're basically normal,
tortured.
apart from the fact they can actually do it performatively.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tell you what, about another kind of show, Ed. I heard there was one in North London last night.
There was at Wembley. There was something called
the content convention.
It was content convention. After that, I took Sydney by the hand. The VIP box. At Wembley, for the final night of the Eras tour.
Wow!
In London, I think it's still going on.
Well, that does sound like game. To be fair, how was it?
It was good. I did not attend the concert. I was there to talk to men, and believe it or not, slim pickings.
Not many men there.
The number of women I'd say it was like 10-1.
Great opportunity for you to spit some game.
Yes, so I practiced.
How many of their hands did you kiss like that? Madam, may I vox pop you?
Enchanté.
It would be the honour of my life to engage you in conversation.
And to learn something about Taylor Swift.
What did you learn about Taylor Swift?
See, the problem with me doing that video was I actually don't know enough about Taylor Swift's discography because it is so massive, and people would be like, "Oh, I'm excited to hear this song," and it'd be a song I've never heard of before.
Florence and the Machine come out?
Yes, I think so.
You wouldn't know. You weren't there.
No, famously, Izzy told me that this morning.
Yes. Okay, but when you stood outside of the concert,
yes,
speaking to men, have we just made it all about the men? I'm thinking about it now. Have we like identified a moment of like collective feminine joy and been like, what do the men think about this?
Yes, but if we wanted to make a video about feminine joy, we'd have to work for a different publisher.
We can have this. I can think about this off the podcast.
But also as well, everyone has done it about feminine joy. If you're looking for a new angle on Taylor Swift,
then
we're talking to men.
Men, yeah, you make it about the men.
We're talking about boyfriends and how does modern masculinity fit into a feminine environment.
They zig, we zag.
Absolutely. They empower.
It's misogyny.
They empower women. We don't speak to any.
Okay. Did you speak to any of the girlfriends of the men?
Yes.
Should we start with them? Just out of like respect.
Respect for
women.
Okay.
What did they think?
What did they? Look, one of them had one couple just got engaged the day before.
Oh,
on a big trip.
How lovely.
Which was lovely. And they were going to Dublin and found out that Taylor was playing London around the time. So they decided to stop off in London for the tour. It was
Do you understand fandom?
No. No, I don't. I don't like anything as much as I think some people like Taylor Swift.
I don't think I do either.
Like, you know when you see the videos of like people camping out at like 2:00 in the morning to get barrier.
Are we boring?
No, I don't think we are. I would say, but like we just don't have that. We just don't have that within us.
And what is that? Is that a lack of a joie de vivre? What is it?
It's got like historical precedent. You know when like they talk about the Beatles and you talk about like them coming out and girls literally pissing themselves.
Sorry? Literally?
Yeah, I think the thing that used to happen is that the Beatles would go on stage and just like...
That's not true.
I think that is true.
That's not true. What the fuck do you mean?
I think I read it. Is Laura fact checking me?
She's shaking her head at you, yeah. Sorry.
Laura wasn't there either. But
sorry, so to be clear, can we just get the claim correct? Sorry, that the Beatles induced such hysteria in their female audiences, they collectively pissed themselves.
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm going to say I'm 70% going to...
There's rumors of it.
Yeah, okay. There's one rumor, there's one source. Oh, sorry, but my point about people fainting when Elvis comes out, or whatever, there is like a level of hysteria attached to people. That's quite a gendered term. I'm going to walk that back.
What about football?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could say, in terms of, versus enjoying a gig, having a gay old time, versus like you descend into like racially aggravated hysteria and are like sending death threats to, for example, Marcus Rashford. I would say that's quite hysterical.
Yes, but I think there is a jumping off point before that. I think that I think maybe the comparison should be you support Plymouth or Argyle and you're going to watch them play Carlisle. That's the comparison. I don't think the end point of being a football fan is like being racist to Marcus Rashford.
What's interesting about that as well is if we're talking about sort of talent, I would say there's more talent on show at the Taylor Swift concert than there is at Plymouth Argyle versus Carlisle.
Yeah, probably.
So it makes more sense, if anything. Mm-hmm. And the Plymouth home and away fan makes less.
Yes, but it is like, but then again, that's something you and I don't do. We don't go home and away. We're not home and away football fans. We like football.
I go to a couple of away games a season.
It's just something that we can't necessarily.
So what is
relate
that?
To.
What is that in here between you and I now? What is that?
It's just an interest, I suppose, or like
That's depressing, isn't it?
But it's also a type.
I'm not interested in anything enough to care about it.
But you also have different responsibilities, and we have less time to do that.
My responsibility. Sorry, you've misunderstood. My responsibility is to my audience. I am audience to no one. But,
audience.
You've misunderstood the nature of the relationship.
I will never be in any audience ever again. No, but I think like a lot of like young people, very time rich, extremely time rich. They have time to dwell on the forums, in the fandoms, find out exactly what the set list is, what the fans for Taylor Swift are going. I remember going to a gig and seeing there's quite like a new young fan base, like kind of a big Twitch streamer liked this band and had got a new kind of like teenagers onto it. And someone posted on the subreddit saying, is there an outfit the fandom wears? And all these like people in their 30s were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's just a different, but that's an example of someone who's incredibly time rich, has the capacity to think about all these things, talk to other fans. There's a whole culture around these artists now that's developed organically, kind of without the artist's consent or without them asking for it. The artist can lean into it, but you do get kind of like ugly scenes. I think it's like, is it Mitski's objected to her fans' behaviour at her shows?
I don't know who you're talking about.
You know who Mitski is? Wow. Laura, do you know who Mitski is? Yeah. See, I'm young.
You're young.
Yeah, I'm young.
Right, okay, sure.
Yeah. Mitski's good.
You've really demonstrated that you're on side with the fandom with your previous remarks. So you've like, I know who Mitski is. Who's Mitski?
A singer. She's good.
Right, okay. And what do her fans do that she doesn't like?
I think I don't know if this is Mitski specific.
I'll throw it out there. Mm-hmm. If my entire audience was pissing themselves when I walked on stage, I would have a problem with that.
See, that's why the Beatles were the biggest band in the world, because they didn't mind. Each night.
I'd be like, I just want to play a gig in a room that doesn't reek of piss.
Each night they came out to play I Want to Hold Your Hand. Wafts of piss smell. They can taste it. Singing Yellow Submarine.
Very good.
But there's a lot of discussion now about people's behaviour at gigs. Did you see the pictures of All Points East at the weekend? It was actually Mitski was the headliner, and people were sitting at the barrier all day watching stuff on Netflix instead of watching the previous 6 or 7 acts.
Yeah, that's bad vibes.
It was poor form.
I'd say, yeah. I feel I'm quite granddaddish with these things. Mm-hmm. I don't like people filming in gigs. Mm-hmm. Pisses me off.
Why does it piss you off?
Because part of the experience, I think, of going to a concert is that it's collective. Mm-hmm. It's common experience, and I think it's one of the reasons why people talk about, for example, the England football team being sort of the rare moment where they feel a sense of sort of national cohesion, or proud to be English, or whatever it is. And I think a large part of that is to do that it's one of the very few remaining genuinely touching on universal collective experiences in the country. The only equivalent thing would be like the death of the Queen or some other ginormous news event. We don't have mass audience bits of culture, be that TV, radio, technically kind of social media, but it's quite sort of demographically limited. So when I go to a concert, part of the joy for me is being in a sort of seething mass of people and knowing that they are all experiencing the same thing as me. And I think there is a sort of heightened, you participate in a kind of heightened emotional state that can lead you all to piss yourselves. That is a really nice experience. I don't think that's the same if someone's filming an entire concert. I don't think you're participating. It's a bizarre thing because I'm almost saying that the other people that have bought the tickets have like a responsibility to the other people that are there to participate in and enjoy it with them.
It's like a play. You wouldn't sit and film an entire. If someone was sitting filming a play,
yeah, God, well, no, you probably get thrown out.
Oh
right?
yeah, but also you would object to that.
Yeah, you would. And in previous generations, you would say, not even generations, previous years, you would say, well, what the fuck are you filming it for? Mm-hmm. You're never going to watch it on your phone. It's a terrible viewing experience. I can understand it, and I've done it, particularly if I've gone to a gig that is an artist that I used to listen to, when I was a teenager, and I might film sort of 30 seconds of me and a friend's favorite song and send it to them, if they didn't know I was there, just to be like, fucking, how class is this? Mm-hmm. But beyond that, what's it for? It's different now because a lot of the time people are filming it to put it on TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. They're hoping to catch a collab, so when Florence...
The viral moment.
Yeah, when Florence and the Machine comes out, when Matty Healy does some fucking depraved thing, mm-hmm. A new song that will get them, 500,000 likes on TikTok. And I think that's sad. Mm-hmm. I think that's sad.
I wonder if it's a different part of being a fan that we don't relate to, because part of it is you're physically there, but then also you're part of the online community. Mm. And showing it, so because if people who aren't necessarily at that concert get to experience part of it as well. Yeah. I don't think that should be your priority, but I think that's part of the reason why.
I don't want to deny people sort of joyful participation in things, right? Like I think it's great that people have. Well, I wouldn't describe Taylor Swift as a niche interest. She's quite literally sort of like the most mass market possible conception of a female recording artist, but like it's fine to love things, right? It's great to love things. It's great to really, really care about something. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I understand devotion, I understand passion, but the idea of camping out somewhere for 3, or like sitting at the front of a gig and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
But that's different because that's entitled behavior. Do you know what I mean? That's
it's rude more than anything.
Yeah, it's rude. It's rude to the other performers. Mm-hmm. It's rude to other members of the audience who might like the artist and want to go and be near the front. And it also is like demonstrates a closed-mindedness that I find quite repellent, which would be, this next artist could be Jimi Hendrix reincarnate, but I don't care because I know what I like. I have no interest in listening to someone new, and that for me is would be quite a boring or insufferable person to spend time with. Mm-hmm.
When we didn't see Phoebe Bridgers, there'd been like a queue before. But it was that
she's got Fandom, hasn't she?
Yeah, but equally, I think it was at the O2 in Brixton, and so it's not a venue that like traditionally has a queue for or you need to queue for. Mm. When we went in, we walked to quite near the front, and there's people behind us who were incensed, and they were like, "We've been here since 7:00 in the morning.
You're a fucking idiot."
And we're like, "Okay, well,
cool.
Sorry." Sorry, she's on now. It was interesting. It was nice though seeing you mentioned about the people coming together. It was interesting seeing all the ways that people. There was kind of a uniform, not a uniform because it was so different, but there was people were all wearing similar outfits, and there was like tropes. People were wearing cowboy hats or lots of T-shirts that said the Junior Jules on it, in a way that I didn't really understand that reference.
Junior Jules.
Yes, it must be a lyric.
I'm sure they're going to tell you.
I'm looking forward to finding out. Or T-shirts that said like, "But Daddy, I love him." Things like that. There was like lots of. It was, and it actually, this is interesting. There is there's a masculine identity, a masculine costume that men can now adopt and wear to a Taylor Swift costume, and they can participate now without being like girly or not masculine. They can dress up as Travis Kelce. So there was like lots.
Were there people dressed up as Travis Kelce?
Yeah, just wearing like a Travis Kelce jersey. And so it's like there's now an acceptable way for men to participate in that fandom or to dress up.
It's a really interesting shift, if you like. And I wonder how much economics has to do with it, where it's so expensive now to go to a concert.
Yep.
One of my friends got a ticket code landed in her inbox the morning of the gig, and she bought them. They were, I think, £200 a ticket, which is a lot of money to go to a gig. So if you are prepared to front that cost, that's an investment, at which point you go, okay, maybe this is my big night out for 3 months.
Yep.
Or a year even, depending on how well off you are. So I am going to go all out. It's going to be cowboy hat, cowboy boots. It's going to be fucking glow sticks. It's going to be Junior Jules. I'm going to get a Junior Jules tattoo, baby.
Yep.
Because it's your moments of sort of participation or enjoyment in experiences like that are now so rare that you feel like that when you do indulge in them, you have to fully commit to them. It's not, oh, I'm going to, I don't know, X gig at the O2 Academy tonight. I'll wear jeans and a t-shirt. It's, we're pulling out all the fucking stops.
We're participating in a communal experience, which includes dressing up. You mentioned there, your friend paid £200. One couple we spoke to said they'd seen people outside of Wembley Park Station offering £3,000 for 2 tickets, and they were like, "We've made a bad financial decision by walking past them."
Fuck, you have. So there were people stood there saying, "I will pay you £3,000."
Standing with signs, being like, looking for 2 tickets, and they must have spoken to them. But yeah, we're prepared to pay thousands of pounds for these tickets. And then a different couple, a couple from Minnesota, he had got tickets in Vancouver, decided that they didn't want to go to Vancouver, so sold them for like $4,000. That $4,000 then paid for their trip to the UK. So they were the scalpers that I met some scalpers last night.
I don't even know where to begin with that. Like, who's the bad actor in that? Is it the person that's prepared to pay £4,000 for the tickets? Is it the person that's prepared to sell them for £4,000?
Yep.
At the end of the day, like, it's your prerogative, right?
I do think you should be selling for face value.
Why?
It's unfair if someone is not vulnerable enough. Like, if you're being quite exploitative, I suppose. If a ticket costs $700 and you're then selling it for triple the value,
is it not just the invisible hand of the market?
Yeah, that famously good guide for moral decisions. It seems like you were lucky enough to sneak through the algorithm and through the landing page and able to get those tickets. This person wasn't, and now you're $4,000 richer and they're $4,000 poorer. That just seems unfair. And it also, if there is that market, like concert tickets are so expensive anyway, and it will just drive the price higher, and fewer people who would like to go will be able to go.
Yeah, it almost feels like you have to Glastonbury it, right, and put people's faces on the tickets.
Yeah.
And if you don't want them, you return them, you get your money back, and they go for a resale.
But I suppose not every concert is. I suppose it should only be for concerts as big as Taylor Swift or Beyonce or something. There's actually very few artists that would probably cater for.
Is there anything you'd pay $4,000 to go and see?
No. I don't think there's anything. I'm so loath to spend £4,000. Is there anything you'd pay $4,000 to see?
Australia?
Yeah. I think that, yeah.
That's about it.
But then
and you're only at about 100%. I think a return ticket to Oz is about $2,000 now. So you're not even at that big a markup.
But then $2,000 for accommodation.
Look, I was thinking about it. I was doing football, and I thought, what game would have to be on that I had a chance to go to? And someone said it's $4,000.
Birmingham City in the Champions League final. Even then, like,
I don't think I would.
No.
I don't think I would to see England in a final. I can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, but maybe it's, that's it though, that we're not, the people that are paying that money are in a different class of wealth to basically everybody else.
I think that's probably true.
When we're saying like, can you imagine paying $4,000 to, like, obviously most normal people are not like, well, I guess I'll just drop $4,000 on the Taylor tickets. No, it's like some fucking son of an oligarch that wants to take his girlfriend and goes, yeah, I'll pay you $4,000. It's not a normal person.
No.
Because clearly the concert experience is not worth £4,000. I'm sorry.
You take that back.
No matter how, like, genuinely, no matter how big a Taylor Swift fan you are, it's not going to be worth $4,000, is it?
No. No, nothing is. Shall we talk about the men?
We can make it about the men.
The men who were being dragged along. So we kind of wanted to talk to boyfriends of the Eras tour and speak to them about the gag being asking them if they're excited and kind of looking at. I wanted to see if they were all going to be like full like wife guy and be like, yeah, I love my girlfriend. I'm excited to do this for her. And I was kind of surprised. I don't know if this was naive of me that a lot of them were being quite like, ugh, I've been dragged here, barely know the words, which I actually thought it was kind of. Found it slightly embarrassing that that's what their reaction was. And it was interesting that like when one of them said, I was like, what song are you most excited for? And one of them said, All Too Well. I know all the words, it's really embarrassing. I then said, oh, that's my favourite song. And then he kind of like brightened up. I was like, oh, great. You were like, it was almost as if he then had permission to be excited about it.
So do you think their lack of enthusiasm was performative?
I think a lot of it was. I think a lot of it was like.
Bear in mind though, you have to be cognizant of like you're filming these people.
Yes, no, but it was like this is what the perceived.
This is how I'm expected to feel about this.
Yes, and being like, oh, the old ball and chain has dragged me here. Even I spoke to a dad who was there with his daughter who'd have been about, I think she was about 10, and even he was being like, yeah, she dragged me here. Instead of being like, yeah, I'm a great dad. I'm doing a lovely thing for my daughter. I'm really excited. She's really excited. It's like, wish it was Blur. Come on, man.
Like, him heckling for play Park Live.
like you're doing something sweet and nice. And I thought it was a shame that you couldn't just own that you were doing something lovely for your girlfriend or your daughter. Like if you'd spent $4,000 on something for your wife, I'd be telling everybody.
I am the best guy. How about they just don't like her very much and they're just being honest?
Yes, but also if you're in that situation, you should be cognizant of that and try not and like don't try and bring your partner down, maybe, because if the partner wasn't on camera, they were within earshot of being like, you're so excited for your big night out, and your boyfriend's not even dressed up.
Where's your fucking t-shirt, bro?
like moaning about you've forced him to come and see an artist that he doesn't like.
Well, I think it's possible.
I think it kind of sucks.
It's possible to not want to do something, but nonetheless, like you can say to someone, I have no interest in this thing. I am here against my will. That's probably slightly extreme. I have been kidnapped.
Help.
This is a hostage situation. If you're watching this video on the UK channels, send help.
They're blinking in Morse code.
But I don't want to be here. Nonetheless, I am going to engage with it and participate. Like both of those things can be true at the same time.
Yes, but I don't.
Like, there's a reason when you said 90% of the people here are women. It's because men don't like Taylor Swift. And that's a generalization. There are clearly some men who do. So I think it kind of stands to reason that of the men that are there, the ones who are there might not necessarily be the most forthcoming in their fandom.
No, but I just thought it was a shame that people weren't they weren't necessarily buying into it. Not all of them were like that, but there was a couple that was like, you could be more excited about this. And I think it's if you are in that situation where you really don't want to do something, but you're doing it anyway, don't advertise the fact that you're making some sort of sacrifice. Don't be a martyr about it.
Yeah, because I guess it's like anyone. There are, as evidenced by the lucrative secondhand ticket market, there are hundreds of thousands of people who would rather be there than you.
Yeah. And you're just being. If it's performative, I thought it was.
So you think it was performative?
I think it was some.
The guy that you gave permission to enjoy it to.
Yes.
Do you think that's reflective of a broader sentiment shared by the men of Taylor Swift, the men of the Eras tour, or do you think that was just like a case by case thing?
Maybe a case by case thing. I think once, because I was concerned that when we were making the video that people would think we're trying to take the piss out of them, or that the video would be like, look at these girly men here, which I really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to ask them in like an encouraging way.
Yeah.
To make them comfortable, to be like honest, to be like, and to so that they could feel comfortable being like, yeah, this is fun. I like doing stuff with my partner, with my daughter, and I think, but it was interesting that the reaction was almost all like, yeah, I know, yeah, I shouldn't be here. I should be at a rock concert.
So what does that tell you then about the men that were there?
I think it's interesting that when you put a spot that was just a feminine environment, and people were and also there was so many different types of men there. We were just looking for boyfriends, straight boyfriends, which was the vast minority. But what was really nice was there was lots of like gay men walking about in full costumes. There was dads with wee girls, there was mums with wee boys. Like the spectrum of masculinity on the show was really nice. And I thought actually, if you were like a wee boy who might grow up to be gay one day, or you're gay now, I guess, but like as an adult, it'd be nice to be in that environment and see that there are men in that environment.
Different versions of a man.
Yeah. But it was interesting that the straight people in relationships, when the focus was put onto them, they defaulted to almost like 70s sitcom idea of masculinity. Like one guy, I think it was ironic, did refer to his girlfriend as the old ball and chain. Like, the old ball and chain has dragged me here. Which was, I was just kind of like...
Was it ironic? Whether or not it's ironic is quite important.
It was ironic, but he was making a joke.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you know that's the role you're supposed to fulfill in that environment, and not many, if any of them, seemed confident enough to fully join in with it. They didn't have, a lot of the guys who spoke to didn't really have costumes on. One guy actually, he had just had a white t-shirt on. I was like, not to call you out, but you're not wearing a costume. And he went, oh no, this is a white t-shirt I'm happy to get rid of. I'm going to buy a t-shirt inside. And he was the most engaged with it. He was buzzing.
Was he?
Yeah, he was really excited. He was absolutely buzzing to go and have a nice night with his girlfriend.
I guess what interests me is the kind of the implicit value judgment in what we're saying here about the difference between the men who were there and earnestly enjoying it versus the men who are kind of begrudgingly there and not. And I guess my point or question is, are not both of those forms of masculinity as valid as each other? Like, the guy who begrudgingly is at the Taylor Swift concert, is it not fine for him to not like Taylor Swift? Like, why are we saying the man that does is there seriously? Why is that in some way superior to the one who doesn't?
I think actually the one that is, those two things are legitimate. The one that is the interesting one is the one who pretends not to like it. The one whose like reflexive reaction is to go into I'm I'm a man, and disingenuously say that they're there against their will and they're not doing this girly thing of their own volition.
Do you think that's a fear of vulnerability?
I think it's a fear of seeming girly, or like a knowledge of what the conception around of what the stock phrases should be, of what the stock character of man at Taylor Swift's concert should be.
That reflex is interesting, isn't it? I think it's one that probably rings true for people all across the country that aren't at Taylor Swift concerts, right? Like the assertion of something being potentially feminine, or the typical slur would be like a homophobic one, right? That if you're perceived to be doing something that isn't stereotypically or traditionally masculine, that you almost have to provide cover for your reason for doing it. You can't say, "Oh, I'm actually here because I want to like support my missus having a nice time. I'm here because I want my daughter's dreamt about doing this for 2 years," or like because that requires an earnest and sincere engagement with being selfless and loving other people. But it doesn't have to just be about Taylor Swift. Whenever if a man exposes kind of emotional vulnerability in that sense, he's conscious that he's making himself potentially weaker or a potential target for maybe not bullying, but sort of insult or attack. And so the reflex is to be like, the old ball and chain drag me here.
Yeah, it's defensive. It's like so that people don't take the piss out of you.
And what do you think that stems from? Banter culture?
The entire history of male identity. I can't believe it's not been solved.
Yeah.
I think I was just surprised. I thought there'd be more like wife guys.
Why?
I think because I know quite a lot of. I think like if my friends were going, they wouldn't be like, ugh, but the bird's dragging me to Taylor Swift. Like, oh, that'd be fun. Nice. Oh, you got that for her birthday? That's really nice of you. It like, and I think maybe that's the circles in which I move in my lefty London media bubble.
Is it that, or do you think it's demographic?
Probably demographic.
That you're a bit younger, and
no, I wasn't younger than these guys.
Okay,
they were of an age, I would say.
What age?
Like, I think the youngest was probably about 24, and the oldest was maybe in their 30s. The dad was in his 40s, I would say.
Okay. Maybe it's not age then. Maybe it is that. Maybe you're in a media bubble.
Yeah. like if you'd been vox popped at Taylor Swift concert with your wife, would you have been like what this bitch has made me do?
You would not have believed. Yeah, that would be clever as well because it'd be a spin on the lyrics. Yeah, it would just be the most sort of rancid, foul-mouthed misogyny. That's. If I got voxed at a Taylor Swift concert, I wouldn't be able to resist. I wouldn't be able to resist the urge to get myself cancelled immediately.
What would you say?
I always say it now. Say it with your chest, King. Say it with your fucking chest. No, I don't know. I sometimes when people are voxing, I sometimes take pity on them and go, yeah, okay, I will speak to you, having been the person that is stood in the cold for hours trying to do it. Yeah, maybe I just say something sort of gratuitously offensive.
So that they then can't use. Depends who it is. Depends what the outlet is.
Yeah, massively depends what the outlet is.
If it's like BBC Breakfast, they're not going to use it.
Yeah. It's almost like you're daring to be like, cancel me. Could you imagine?
Slur.
You're just like a generic PoliticsJOE fan, and then you see Ed Campbell on ITV News, like in like an absolute torrent of abuse about like about like young women who enjoy Taylor Swift, being like, "What the fuck is this?
They're all idiots. They're all pissing themselves in there." It's disgusting. Women haven't changed and they shouldn't vote.
Well, yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think I'd be happy, but I wouldn't be happy because I wouldn't want to be there.
To be at the concert?
No.
Would you not? As like a spectacle.
I'd put it like this: if the ticket was free, yes, then happily. I enjoy live music. I like country. I like pop, and I also like listening to things that I don't listen to very much. So that would be enjoyable.
Would you be sitting watching Netflix on your phone?
Absolutely not. No, no.
Knitting.
No, I would. I would like it as spectacle and theatre, but I think and maybe this is where they're sort of begrudgingly. This is where the begrudging boyfriend comes in. Is I'm sure if you were sort of, you've won 2 tickets to Taylor Swift, you'd be like, oh fucking A, let's go. But if it was, we've won the ballot to buy tickets to Taylor Swift, and your ticket is £250. That changes my perspective. That changes my perspective quite dramatically.
But would you not have that discussion before you got there?
Oh,
and probably not go.
Yeah. No, I would. Yeah, I would let someone else go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What would you pay to go and see Taylor Swift?
I don't know.
50 quid?
No, because I don't want. I'm not seeking it out.
But if you could pay 50 quid,
I don't think I would.
If you could pay 50 quid, knowing the retail market for these tickets, you're not allowed to sell it.
Oh,
you're not allowed to scalp.
Okay.
But knowing that the thing is worth up to $4,000 for someone else, but you have an opportunity to buy it for 50.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
No, because then someone else could presumably have that opportunity.
No, it's an Ed Campbell ticket.
This
ticket solely exists to test and see if you would go to the concert.
It's actually a moral quandary designed just for you.
Yes.
£50? No, I don't think I would.
25?
20?
You are going to boil so much piss.
I think
I would only pay 20 quid to go to see Taylor Swift.
But it's like it's not. I'm not going out of my way to see Taylor Swift because you have to get into Wembley. Wembley's far.
There aren't many gigs you can get into now for 20 quid.
Yeah, but like the ones that I want to go to, I'm happy to pay more than £20.
Who would you pay £200 to see, living or dead?
The Beatles, so I could see sweet. Just to see if it's true.
Sorry. You've bamboozled me. It would be an entirely journalistic endeavour.
Whoa! It's tidal wave. Probably actually the Beatles, but not for the piss reasons.
Genuinely?
I think so.
The Beatles?
Yeah. What would you say?
I thought you might say Frightened Rabbit.
I've seen them. That's
wasn't worth 200 quid.
Well, the option is like anyone throughout history.
Yeah.
Like you say like Beethoven or something. I think like someone that you
fuck off.
But fuck off. Someone that you've seen.
You're not kidding anyone.
No.
You're not kidding anyone.
I'm not saying I choose. I'm not saying I choose Beethoven. I'm not saying that at all.
You're right, because you choose Wagner.
But if you're in that within the realm of that question, if you're choosing someone that you have the capacity to see or have seen, then that's a waste of money, or it's a waste of a wish.
Yeah, you're wise. You're wise on the old wish economy there.
So you choose like George Formby, or
Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix,
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Have we achieved? We've come up with the right answer.
Definitive.
Yeah. List.
Sinead O'Connor.
But you could have seen Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah. No, I'm only saying that because of her recent death.
You know, I understand why you're saying it, but I think that's still that falls within the realms of you could have in the last whatever.
And yet you didn't. Yeah.
But then again, I wouldn't. I don't think I would go and see Sinead O'Connor. Even if she was alive.
What about to see Robbie Williams at Nebworth?
That's actually quite a good one. That'd be sick.
But it's going to cost you 200 bish.
Yeah, I think I would do that.
You would?
I think so. Because then you have to pay for the time travel element as well, which must cost.
What's really interesting about this is that I think Robbie Williams and Taylor Swift are very much within the same pantheon of like quite generic pop music. And it's interesting that, to your mind, Robbie Williams at Nebworth is worth £200, but the Eras tour is not.
I think objectively, I understand. Like, subjectively, very different quantities. But objectively, I think...
Was Taylor Swift upside down at any point?
We've got no idea. I wasn't there.
We'd have heard about it. We'd have heard about it.
She doesn't have the daring to begin to begin her set suspended by her ankles. Oasis and Nebworth?
I saw Oasis on their last tour.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the Rico, and it was Beatles adjacent. So much piss.
Really?
So many pints of piss being thrown around. And it was my first time being covered in piss at a gig.
And pissing in a cup and throwing it.
Didn't do that. This was my first time watching someone take ecstasy.
And first time taking ecstasy.
Again, didn't take ecstasy. So it was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. They were being supported by Kasabian and The Enemy. Do you remember The Enemy?
Yeah, holy shit.
But because it was at the Rico in Cov, so Kasabian didn't do a slot and they gave The Enemy basically like a full gig because it's like homecoming, and then The Enemy did the same for Kasabian in Leicester and didn't support. And I think maybe Twisted Sister, was it Twisted Weird? Was it fucking some band called something like that? Yeah, it was good. It was good. I wouldn't pay 200 quid for that.
Michael Jackson?
Absolutely not. No.
R. Kelly?
What? What are you doing?
Trying to find something out about you. Do you not like Michael Jackson?
No.
Or is it the allegations?
Both.
Do you not like his music?
Not really,
That's
no.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that from a man who said if he could see anyone in history, he would go and watch the fucking Beatles. Like, come on.
Do you not like the Beatles?
They're all right.
Oh, you're so cool.
No.
That's so sick.
What's good? Come Together?
Lots of good songs.
Name another one.
Help. Strawberry Fields
5 out of 10.
Fool in the Hill.
What?
They're good songs.
I haven't heard of it.
Well, it must be bad then.
Yeah. I am the arbiter of cultural taste.
But has your opinion on the Beatles changed since you found out about the pissing thing? Do you now see it as like a moral thing?
My opinion of you has changed quite dramatically since you told me you believed that to be true. Yes. My opinion of the Beatles has not changed, really, no.
Who's your favourite Beatle?
Ringo.
Really? Nice.
Was it is it Paul McCartney or John Lennon gets interviewed and is like, is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world? And they're like, Ringo Starr isn't the best drummer in the Beatles.
I think that's an urban myth.
Really?
I think it's just a text image.
That's a shame.
That is a shame. It's good. It's a good line.
See that in a way encapsulates the Beatles. Completely rizzless.
Rizzless?
Yeah. That you just told me that quite funny line. It's not even real. Like, come on, John Lennon. Do something else. Have you seen how weird John Lennon's arse is?
Yes, it's very funny. In that photo
in contrast with Yoko's.
There's that photo of him and Yoko Ono naked from the back.
Yeah.
And one of them has a really arse.
Yeah, John has a ginormously long arse. And Yoko has the shortest arse you've ever seen. It's like half a foot, 6 inches maybe. It's like a baby's arse on an adult.
It's so long.
And he looks like fucking
it goes
Sasquatch or something.
He goes halfway up his back.
Yeah, it's mad. That can't be real. If we're talking about fake Beatles content, if the Ringo Starr quote is fake, that has to be fake.
Do you think when he sat down...
His arse cannot look like that.
Do you think when he sat down...
He get through so much toilet paper.
He had to sit down like at this kind of angle. If his bum stops here, his back can only amount to like that. Shit would have gone everywhere.
What's weirder, the long arse or the short arse?
Long, I think.
The long is more off-putting.
Yeah. You looked really strange.
Is it real?
I think so.
It's fake. Oh.
Sean says no.
Yeah, he's saying it's fake.
Okay.
I mean, that would make sense because they were both comically proportioned.
Maybe that's why they fell in love.
Arse equilibrium.
Wow. That woman has the smallest arse. Have you ever listened to Yoko Ono's music?
Someone's put it on as a joke once.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's like wailing.
Yeah. It's not great. Would you go and see the Rolling Stones? You can still go do that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely. Yeah, I would go and see Peak Stones, like in the depths of heroin.
Yeah.
I go and see Led Zeppelin peak heroin. These are not unproblematic gentlemen either, by the way.
No.
Don't want to exonerate them when we're talking about MJ and fucking R. Kelly.
David Bowie?
Yeah, I think that's who it would be, I think I go and see Prime Bowie. And that's what you say, oh, well, which one? Which Prime?
Yeah.
So many different Bowies. A Bowie for every occasion.
Which one would you do? I think Ziggy Stardust.
Was good. I liked his Motown album. Any or. Yeah, Bowie, that would be good. I'm trying to think of bands that I used to really like that have since broken up. The King Blues, go and see them.
Don't know King Blues. You love Keane.
What? That's the most slanderous thing you've said possibly in the history of the podcast. I like Keane.
You love Keane.
That's not true.
Performative. You're doing what the men at the Taylor Swift concert were doing. You think you shouldn't like Keane.
What's the song? Somewhere Only We. That's Keane. I like that song.
Have I told you the story about the guy at my school who liked the script?
You haven't told me about him, but I'm formulating an idea already.
So I sat next to this boy.
It's quite like the Fray. Very similar energy, yeah? With the script, the Irish.
Cool, yeah.
X Factor?
He was on The Voice. The main singer was on The Voice.
Yeah.
He was a judge on The Voice. But there was a boy so I sat next to this guy, James, in maths, and there was a boy called John who sat behind us, and John was loved winding people up. He was a real needler. And kind of as a result, couldn't really have an earnest conversation with him. And so...
Don't know anyone like that.
But John turned to James and was like, he was genuinely asking, he was like, what music do you like? He's like, I'm not telling you. And John was like, what music do you like? And James was like, I'm not telling you. This went on for like half an hour. I was like, what music do you like? What music do you like? What music do you like? And eventually James went, fine! I like the script! And then in every maths lesson from then on, he would just play really, really quietly on his phone, The Man Who Can't Be Moved. Just every maths lesson.
The mistake he made was cracking.
Yeah, he was doing really well. It was admirable for a long time.
It's probably better to spend the rest of your maths class for that academic year being asked what music you like than it is. Well, actually, I suppose if you like listening to The Man Who Can't Be Moved, the fact that someone plays it to you every maths lesson...
No, but it was the intent. It was to wind them up, and he was wound. It was successful.
Well wound. Are the men all right?
I thought it was a shame that they couldn't be earnest, and that so many of them defaulted to a stereotype. So I think they can be better. That was my takeaway from it.
Well, watch the video and come to a conclusion yourselves, dear listeners.
Yes, do that.
That's a square hour, I'd say, Ed Campbell.
An hour. Christ.
Yeah. Can I confirm on that, Sean?
Yeah, just over.
Nice. Excellent. Good work.
We didn't even have to have a serious conversation about drug deaths in Scotland.
Nope. Thank God we avoided that. Well, we made a video about it.
We made a...
It's now outdated.
Yeah. Probably is, actually. How long ago was that?
3 years ago.
Fucking hell. Time flies.
Mm-hmm.
Good vid, though.
Yeah, it's a good vid.
Deaths of Despair, check it out. PoliticsJOE YouTube.
Mm-hmm. You know when Ollie says that when I was a videographer I couldn't film?
Yeah.
Watch that and that'll prove him wrong. Some of my best work.
Wasn't some of your best driving?
No, it wasn't. 6 months of intense practice and finally working out what aperture meant. Enjoy that.
See you in the subreddit?
Yeah. Come to r/PoliticsJOE. Like and subscribe on YouTube.
Leave a review on your audio platform of choice.
Yes. Do we mind if they're negative?
No.
I don't mind.
Fan mail to ed@joe.co.uk.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy who set up a betting website on the subreddit.
Yes, the cockfighting thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I won anything.
Who's making the money on that?
I don't think it's real. It's not real.
Oh, sorry, you didn't have to pay with your own cash.
No. It's like you're given a wallet of like 50 quid.
Oh, cool. I thought it was genuine.
Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't think we could like endorse it if they had.
Yeah, I probably should have thought about that before I mentioned it. Anyway.
It's a fake gambling website.
It's quite fun. It sort of matches politicians against each other.
And says who'd win in a cockfight.
And he said it gets decided between 7 and 7:10 British summertime every day. The victor is announced.
Yeah.
Who's the bout today?
Shall I look? Got to log in. Let's see.
Would we describe the podcast today as right on? I don't think we could we?
No, I don't think so.
I think,
Maybe.
dare I say, I think we may have engaged in some tired masculine tropes.
Did we? Which ones?
I don't know, the one about women can't enjoy a concert without pissing themselves might be one, Ed. I think that might come back to bite you in the arse, to be honest with you.
I didn't say couldn't. That wasn't what I said. The matchup today, 2 household names. Lauren Edwards. I don't know who that is.
That's a new MP, I think.
And Kaido Huvelsson, who seems to be a sumo wrestler.
What are the odds?
The
sumo wrestler must be pretty...
10% for Lauren.
Yeah.
And then Kaido Huvelsson. I'm just going to look him up.
Oh, it's Estonian.
Yeah. Estonian politician and former professional sumo wrestler. Gosh, that is weighted. I didn't think it was, because the first one wasn't weighted. It was Jess Phillips versus Tom Duganat. It was 50-50.
Well, you would assume with Kaido's combat sports background.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think
smart money's not on Edwards.
No. Yeah.
Well, good luck to her. Good luck to her in her bout this evening.
God, imagine that's actually happening. All these people are chained up and being released into an octagon.
Is it? There's no like animation. You don't see them fighting.
No. I think it's like Football Manager.
There's no one
it just like happens.
Applying razor blades to their heels.
No. Nice.
We done?
That's it.
Closing remarks?
None.
God bless you, Ed Campbell.
God bless you, Ollie.
Until the next time.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Farewell.